TDD is all about writing the test first and make the test pass by writing the dev code. Finally, once the test pass, refactor the dev code as well as the test code. So by doing this repeatedly, we're just going to write the dev code which precisely passing all the tests or the given requirement. In this programming exercise, we are going to do something called code kata, which is a common thing where programmers enhance their skill by doing through practice and repetitions of writing some tests and the dev code. We will be implementing a simple tennis game scoring system using TDD, and I will share the link of this problem in the video. We will be writing a Java program using the IntelliJ IDE to fulfill the requirement by following the test driven development. So first write the test, then write the dev code which will satisfy this tennis game scoring requirement. So let's jump in. So using IntelliJ's new project, so I'm creating a Maven project, and I'll be giving the name as tennis game, and it will populate all the default dependencies. So you can see there is a default POM, and it created a main as package, the test package and the main package. So we have a default POM there. So now we're going to write the test first. So let's write. So right click, create new Java class, and we'll say it is a tennis game test. So now we have a tennis game test, and if you see, we not even started writing the dev code. We're just going with the default test, empty test first. We're going to add a test annotation. Yeah, so we're looking for a dependency, and for this exercise I will add the latest JUnit 5 to the class path. So I select this, and Maven will automatically add them in our class path. Now let me see, is there anything else I need to check. I will run the program. So the default test passes. So blindly, so first it is an empty test, so it will pass obviously. So now I'm going to write the dev code. Yeah, so private final tennis game, so tennis equal to, so I generally prefer to name the dev code which I'm trying to test as under test, so which is easy to identify in the unit test. So we have a tennis game with two players, Bob and Rob. Now I'm trying to create this dev class. So if you notice, I just created the test class, and from the test class I created the tennis game dev class. So now the class is resolved. Now again I'm just going to create the constructor for it. So the player 1 name and the player 2 name. So everything is driven from the test to the dev. So I leave it as it is. Now again I try to say run, and let's give, so what are we looking for? So we're looking for a score, a method which returns as a score. So by default when the game starts it will be love all, so I renamed the test to love all. So then I'm trying to make an assertion which checks, so by default when this object is initialized and when I try to get the score, it should return me now all. If you notice, there is no method in the dev code, so I'm just adding a method here, and I'm doing alt enter and clicking this create the method, press it automatically. The benefit of doing this test driven is So basically whatever the return type that we are trying to assert, so all this method signature will match. So by default we need a love all, so I added it. The test is going. I'm going to run the test by pressing Ctrl R, so the test is passing. Something is missed. Looks like the definition, because I renamed the test, it is not picking up. So I'll try to rerun the test again from here. Right, so the test is passed now. So we started off writing the test, then the dev class, and return a test. Now I'm going to copy this test and make my next test case is 15 all. For this to happen, I need to make the player score a point. So I'm saying player 1 scored 1 point and player 2 scored a point. So that gives back to our requirement, is just whenever it's 1 and 1, it need to be 15 all. And I just typed it as it is, so I'm just again going to click on the method and I'm going to create the method in the dev class, and I'm just return. Okay, we don't need to return anything. I'm just going to say player 1 scored plus plus. Again select, again I can select it's a field environment, so automatically these things, it automatically defines a data type. Everything comes driven by the test, so it is more precise. And again I'm doing the same thing for player 2. So again the player 2 increase, I'm repeating the same thing, click add the field variable, and yeah, this is also done. Yeah, now so the test is returned. Now I'm going to run it, and when I run it, obviously it will fail because I have not returned logic. So by default it returns love all. Now let me go and add the dev code for the test to pass. So if player 1 score matches the player 2 score, and if the player 1 score or the player 2 score is 1, or maybe we can say 0. Yeah, 0 means love all, and we'll do the thing for the players scored 1, copy that and paste it. So it comes return 15 all. Yeah. Right. The test passed. So now we're going to do maybe 30 all. Yeah, let's try 30 all. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, so player 1 is going 2 points, player 2 is going to do 2 points. Then so but in a so they both scored same points, so again it will be 30 all. So obviously the test will fail because we didn't add any new dev code. So again we are going back to the code there, else, and if the player scored 2, then it does 30 all. Yeah, now run it. Let's see the test pass. Yay, the test pass. Now I can notice that we just repeating some steps, so why not? Let's refactor the test. So if you see in love all there is no action, and in 15 all we are doing 1 score, and in 30 all we are doing 2 scores. So there is something called parameterized test in JUnit 5, so where you can start giving the inputs in a comma separated fashion. So one of the annotation that used is a CSV source, where you can give the input like, so we want something like player 1 scored this much, player to score, and what is the expected score. So if you look closely, it is like a comma separated input and the expected output. So we're just going to define player 1 scored and player 2 scored, and what was expected. And this is very neat and simple, and it is self-explanatory. Let's try. Then I'm just gonna match it, say like, yeah, so number of times they scored, I'm gonna run a loop for player 1. How many score they ask, I will be running in a loop, and I'll say like on the test player 1 scored that much times, and the same copy that loop and do the same thing for player 2. Right, now the expected score is something I can replace because it has been driven by the CSV source, I mean the comma separated input and output source. Yeah, notice that the parameter test is working on, so we don't need to have a separate test. So this is one of the way you refactor the test. I believe given we parameterized the test, I don't think we'll be expecting furthermore refactoring, because we are just going to have one test with different input and an expected output. So nice, isn't it? Yeah, that's the power of JUnit 5. I recently started using JUnit 5. It is very good compared to JUnit 4, because if you want to do the same thing in JUnit 4, you need to have something like data provider runner, data provider, some another dependency you need to add. These things are bundled with JUnit like that. Okay, let's try the next one, which is we're going to try the deuce one. So yeah, both scored 3-3, and the expectation is deuce. Obviously it will fail, yeah, because we don't have an implementation there. So let's add some implementation. So we expect that if it is scored 4 or anything scored above 2 is a deuce, because the topmost if condition is both the score matches. If both the score matches, obviously, and if it is more than 2, it falls under the deuce category. So we just have a simple else. The test passes. Right, let's go back. Right, okay. So let's add the next test, which will be maybe advantage Rob or Bob. Yeah, it's going to be Bob. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so we need to run the test. Yeah, Control R. Yeah, it fails. Yeah, so it defaults to the wall. So let's add some code. Yeah, so because now it is all about advantage, which is not a matching score, so we have a else block. So in the else block, what we're trying to say, so by default we'd like to have a simple implementation that it returns advantage and the name of the player. Oh my, we didn't store the name of the player. Okay, for the sake of now, let's hardcode it. Let's make the test pass first, then we'll add the proper implementation. It passed. Okay, let's go back. Let's try the different one. Say the advantage is to Rob. So it must be like 4,5 advantage Rob. So when we run it, it's the same section of code, but it still fails because the name is not matching. Because we hard coded Bob. So now it's time to add the code to store the names of the players. So you have to press Alt Enter and store the name. Being it's a constructor variable and it's never going to change, when the game starts we will mark it as final. You just need to have the name. Now given it is an advantage, we want to know who is advantage. So as far as let me think, maybe we can find who is the highest scoring player. We'll get the name of it. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, let's try. Player name. Yeah, if the player 1 scores more than player 2, then return the player 1 name, otherwise player 2 name. Let's run it. Yes, it passed. All good. Let's go back to the test. Let's add the final game point, like the usual one is like 4,6. So game Rob. We want to print now, as per the tennis scoring system, if there is a 2-point difference, we run the test is failed. Yeah, we want the Rob to win. Yeah, let's add the condition. So we want to figure out if the point difference is 2, then we want to declare a player is a winner, because either player could be different. We would like to explore the max function, which is absolute. So we diff the player score, but the absolute will remove any negative sign. So we just finding the points difference. Yeah, if the point difference is 1, we will treat that as advantage. If it is 2, we will declare that the player has won the game. Let's see. Yeah, we say game, the same thing. Let's run the test. Yes, it passed. But still, if you notice, there is a scope of refactoring. Can you see I repeated some code? So let's make them as a method. So you can extract them as a method. So using like the shortcut keys in IntelliJ, and I'm going to say high scorer player name or high scorer name. Yeah, then it will automatically replace any duplicate code flow. Yeah, so it detected it, so I'm just going to apply it. Right, let's run that. Yeah, it passed. But if you notice, all is like a simple glaze matching course, then there is advantage. What about the simple things like 15 love, 30 love, like that? So let's try that. Let's see whether the other side, so game Bob is passing. Right, okay, it's good to have all the possible tests. So let's try the next test case, which is all about like love 15. Yeah, so 0-1 love 15, go back there. So we know that if the scores are not matching, we currently assume it's advantage and win. So I'm gonna surround it with if condition, where that the score difference is greater than 2, which means basically it's above advice, then we will take the advantage and game route. If not, we will try to find the individual score and try to return it. Yeah, so if you see, notice all the scores are above 3. Yeah, so that condition is there, else it will try to return the each score's name. Now let's see, I need to put the return statement. Yeah, to make the test pass, I just copy the love 15 as of now, so that the test pass, then I will come back and add the code when I add the next set of test cases. So it's passed. So I'm assuming now, if it's not following under the advantage game route, so currently I'm hard coding that to return love 15. I'm just going to change it, add another test case with 1 2, so to make it as 15 30. Given that this, now I need to have a proper code that solves the test. Yeah, it fails now. Right, now we already used to decide when is love, when is 15, when is 30 in the above if condition. So maybe a little bit of refactoring or copy paste. I'm just thinking what to do, whether to refactor or whether to copy paste. What shall I do now? Maybe it's better to copy. Let's see. No, I think it's better to copy and make a new method. Yeah, I just want that thing as a method instead of all. I'm just going to pass in a score and it's going to return me whether it is love 15 or 30 or something. So I'm just saying like what is the point. I simply have to copy the scores, everything. Yeah, so just point, just copy paste it. Right, now I don't need a all because this is given a score. I just need to return whether it is a love 15, 30 and 40. Right, so then because it's kind of like a repeating, I'm just going to refactor the other code. If the player score is more than 2, it means it's twist. So I can just narrow down that straight away. If it's not, now I'm going to do that get score, pass in the score and append all, because we know that the topmost condition is the matching score for player 1 and player 2. So this whole if is gone. So this is, see, because we've been having the test in place, we are able to confidently able to refactor the code. Now I'm just going to say get score for player 1 in the case where two people have different scores. So I'm just going to say get score for player 1 space get score for player 2. Right, let's run the test. Fantastic. So all the scenarios has been passed even after the refactoring. If you see, right, it's so quick, and we've been say our implementation is been like protected by the test. So again, let's refactor a little bit in a more readable fashion. So instead of having a simple if else, we will just replace it with a ternary operator, so that makes the code a single line, and we'll do the similar thing for the the else part. Let's see, is there anything else I can improve on it? Maybe whether I able to reduce the if condition, the bigger if condition into smaller condition, maybe ternary operator. Is there any scope? I couldn't able to figure out any pattern. Right. That one is there. Is there any point? I'm just trying the any suggestion given by the IntelliJ. Right. I'm looking for is it suggesting any ternary operation thing. Right. Point difference. Let's say yeah. If the point difference, yes, if the point difference is 1, then return the advantage. Otherwise, obviously, it will be more than 1 and it will be the game. So, okay, so we are able to reduce that. into a single ternary operator, because we are repeating that higher scorer player name 2 times, so this will make it like calling it 1 time, and it's also more readable. Now it has been like nice, very nice. So the topmost if condition shows, all the test files. The topmost if condition shows uh, the equal scores, else part shows the uh, non-equal score with advantage game and individual scores. Okay, so now we are going to make have a map, a constant map which stores the score, so that instead of having a method, a big method, we just have a hard-coded value in the map. We pass in a score, it gives you the value, the score. These are like a simple things. You just have to add it as a key value. 0 comma is low. I just copy the lines and put it for the points 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. What I'm doing? Some. I think the keys are going wrong. Let me put it here. Alright, so it's a simple copy paste. 15, 30, and 40. One is I can replace this method with a simple return score map get point, or I can replace the method and call the map directly. This is all like the individual choices, like how somebody don't want to call a static map from like a member variable, member method. It's okay now. So this is like one of the way we can like keep improving the things, and for this particular problem different people will have a different solution, approaching in a different order and different ways. So this is one of the ways. I'll try to put the solution into the GitHub, and I'll try to store them, add it into the video. I'm just going to add some test case. So let me add some normal test cases. Right, so all the scenarios, the expected, all the things were passing. Right, good. Hope you guys enjoyed the Java TDD session. I hope you guys helped you, or the way of thinking the test as a first class citizen, and then writing the dev code. Thanks, and if you like the video, share it with others. Thank you. Bye.